Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be going over the super awesome utility of velocity. Now this is a Ableton device that works in the MIDI domain, and what it does is, whatever note you spit in, it will kind of assign a velocity to it. So it basically affects the velocity. And you can kind of clamp the velocity. You can have it so like it will never go below, 50, or you can just have it so whatever note you press, it will always be 127, which is full on velocity. And you can see it here. I'm just going to up in the MIDI monitor and then arm that for recording. Right, so it's always 127 there. But then if I have it to 0, it's 99, but I'm using my computer keyboard, so it's kind of affixed. So what I use this for is, well, what this video is going to be demonstrating is its use in other things besides velocity. So a cool thing that it can do is it can randomize the velocity. Right, so you can see the velocity is different every time I press a note. However, it is biased to kind of one side. So how you kind of combat this is you have your compression knob here, so it kind of evens it out, and now it's quite even. So what can you do with this? Well, you can do a lot. And the main use I'm going to be explaining further down the line. So let's drop in Serum, and let's just turn off the oscillators. Serum it accepts MIDI velocity, like any synth worth anything accepts MIDI velocity in. And you can see it right here. Velo is velocity, and you can see every time I press a note, it's shows what velocity it has landed on. So that's pretty cool. So what can you do with that? Well, let's get oscillator A open. Something like that. Let's get the filter in there as well. So an interesting thing that you can do is to kind of randomize the filter cutoff amount slightly for your basses. And this will, make it seem more random and I guess analog. The human ear will, right, we'll all get bored of that eventually, right? But if we map the velocity to it and we bring it, well, I'll just give you an example of what it does. Every note I press, it'll select a new cutoff point. But if we have that just slightly, right, it's subtle and you don't pick up on it, and it sounds cool and it sounds pleasing and it's super easy to implement. And it's right there, so why not? You can map it to other things as well. Let's go unison. So let's go, yeah, we'll map that to detune amount. So you have like, an evolving thing going on there. Every note you press, it's a new detune amount. And, that's all well and fun. And you can apply this to other things like, the delay, or like the filter of the delay. Right, so we'll just do that. I'll make that pretty wide. Right, you can hear that, right? Right, so it's different each time. And, listeners, you pick up on things like that, or you don't know what you're hearing, but it's like that little thing that adds to, what makes something sound good and interesting. And that's with Serum. So let's use it with, I guess, an Ableton device. And I'm going to do this, just because you might run into this problem where the velocity is actually doing things to the volume. So how you combat that is, there's the amp right here, mapped to the velocity. We'll just turn that off. Right, so now it's no longer affecting the amplitude. And, you can do it with, the filter. Let's go that. Give it some drive. that's clicking. I don't like that. There, fixed. So yeah, we can have the velocity mapped to the filter frequency. Right, we want to have that subtle though, right? That's not that subtle, but you get the idea. It's like these little tiny things. Right, then we can have it mapped to the drive as well, which you don't have to be that subtle about. But it's really cool. Like, it adds to the thing. So one of the more interesting use cases for this is applying this to drums, let's say. So we'll go to that. We'll go find a closed hi-hat. Right. Okay, so you got like your cool, you know, track situation here. And, you know, let's pretend that you have this hi-hat pattern going on all throughout. Right. And, you know, I'm just gonna move this velocity over here into the drum rack. So without it, it sounds like this. Right. And, you know, velocity automation is useful. It does stuff like that. But let's see if we want to do something else with it. Now, this is something that we can do. So we'll go simpler to sampler, and we will go, I forget where it is. Oh, crap. Turn off snap to buy some time. Filter, globe. Yeah. Volume to velocity. So now it's no longer, this velocity is no longer messing with it. Now it is. Now it's not. So from here, what can you do? Well, you can go to the modulation or the MIDI, and we can map velocity to, say, pitch. And we can bring that up. Right, that's a little bit too much. What you want to do is you want to have that super duper subtle. Right, and if you can hear that, you're golden. And it's really interesting how that works. It just sounds really cool. And you can apply this to a bunch of things, and even LFOs and stuff. But yeah, it brings life into your drum rack and things like that. You don't want to have it like, you know, you don't want to have it before the drum rack, because that doesn't make any sense. When you want to have it in its individual kind of cell here, then there you have it. And you can have a different one for each one, and really dial it in if you wish. And you know, it's always a good idea to kind of have velocity to volume as well, which will pick a random volume, and that sounds pretty cool. Right, and let's bring that pitch up a little bit. Right, and there you have it. And you know, you can do a bunch of stuff, but yeah, you can have each of these in its own kind of, I guess, cell. So you just copy it over and then paste. You might want to make like a drum rack with all these, and get rid of the volume, velocity, and everything else. Just double click, and you can kind of save that and then copy it over. Save the drum rack as a just save it, and you know, you'll have it for later. It works out quite well, and it's just an easy way to get some more interest in your tracks, and it's with something that, you know, you wouldn't really think it would be used for. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.